We got a big episode of the EuroLounge Pod scheduled for today. James gets Steph, Lasme with us, and like always, we're going to head on some of the biggest things happening in European basketball, the EuroLeague, with two guys who did it better than most. However, on a recent episode of Thanalysis, we started talking about the rivalries that take place in European basketball. I thought the Yankees and Red Sox here in the U.S. were a big rivalry, and then I learned what actually happens at basketball games over there and was super intrigued. So we were telling stories. I think, James, you said two of the Greek teams the fans weren't allowed in the same arena at the same time, which is amazing. I love that kind of passion from fans. And then, Steph, I think you're the one who brought up that a player got hit with a flare at one point during one of the pregame warmups, and so we obviously had to reach out to that player. Kyle Hines has joined us today. He's safe. I think the flare thing was about a decade ago, but he's obviously he's safe from that incident. And thanks so much.
I'm still ducking him now, man. I'm still ducking him now.
Definitely.
We're gonna get to that story later on, but I'll start with the first question here. And just like once, obviously, thanks for joining us. But then, what has your basketball life? What have you been up to recently?
First of all, I appreciate you guys for having me part of the podcast. James and Steph are both my guys. We've had a lot of battles with each other, on the court, but we also had a lot of fun off the court, being in Athens and, being around each other. So I think definitely, I think all three of us, have helped make each other better. And have definitely been sounding boards on, taking advice on each other's career. But yeah, man, I just recently retired this year, this summer. I wanted to get back home. I got 3 small kids, so I wanted them to get closer to their families, closer to my parents and my wife's grandparents. So we came back home to Jersey, and honestly, I wasn't really looking to really get into something. I really was just going to take this year to kind of chill and kind of get the family in the right situation, and kind of I'm sure these guys could tell we're all retired. Kind of get a breath of fresh air. From getting outside of the routine. But almost immediately after I retired, I got a call from the Brooklyn Nets, and they asked me to do summer league with them. So I went to summer league, and they said come out and just try it out, and kind of start figuring out what you want to do next. And I actually enjoyed it so much that they gave me an opportunity to basically kind of come on almost, I guess you could call almost like an intern, I wish you could say. So I'm basically kind of taking on a role where I'm kind of on the floor with the guys, and kind of just taking on an opportunity to kind of learn through the NBA. I haven't played in the NBA, so I'm basically just learning a lot of different things, whether or not it's just being on the floor, being in how an NBA team runs. But like I said, I've been very fortunate to be able to kind of jump on board with them and kind of help me through this throughout this transition period of trying to figure out what's next, because I'm sure they could tell you as well, it's not easy. It's not easy. You in our minds we think it's easy. Yeah, we just gonna stop, and all of a sudden one day you just realize dang, I'm not really a hooper anymore. I don't have that routine. I don't have all those things that come along with that anymore. And then also with the transition of coming back home to the States, I've been away from home for almost 20 years. So this is my first time really being home, and being in the USA, and being home during the wintertime, and actually living in my house.
Right.
I've never lived in my house, so it's I'm finding out little things I gotta get all the little stuff, you gotta get light bulbs changed, and this is going out and that's going out, and my wife looking at me, and I'm like, when we overseas, we just call the manager, yo, the light bulb out, man. I need somebody to come through to come help me out, or this is out. All of a sudden I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So, but yeah, exactly. Now I'm running around Home Depot and all these other places, but
get that Home Depot card.
Yeah, man, you need that. But overall, it's been a fun experience, man. It's been a fun experience to be back home and seeing my kids kind of enjoy the process of being home. I know we got my man Gets is a Redskins fan, but the Eagles won a Super Bowl, so it's seeing my kids want to run around with that Kelly green on, and celebrating the Super Bowl. It's kind of weird to say. My son didn't know what football was, bro. I had it on, but he never seen football. So football to him is soccer. So so he's a big time soccer fan. So he's coming back. He's like, yo, who are the Eagles and what is this and what is that? And they won a Super Bowl. So now, like, he's diehard. He be running around here screaming EAGL Eagles, all that different type stuff. So like it's been fun, like, you know, like seeing them become like American kids and you know, like kind of like do all that different type of stuff. So I'm loving the transition. I do miss hoops at times. I'm sure we all do, but I'm enjoying the transition of being home.
Wholeheartedly, man. I want people to really understand like who we're talking to right now, man. I think it's just a proper introduction. Like, you know, take it all the way back to when we were coming out of college and we were starting to prep for the draft, man, back with Edon over at Georgetown. Yep. Me, you, Joey Dorsey, I think Giannis Jerebko pulled up to a couple workouts with us, man, and, you know, prepping, getting ready. And just the workouts and everything that we went through, we didn't know the road that we were going to go on. You feel me?
No.
We didn't know how anything was going to turn up. I'm not sure how your situation was. I mean, you came from the bomb. You know, you went to college in the States. You know, your first time was different too as well. But prepping and getting ready for the league, you know how it is. But at the same time, you know, Kyle, you was able to go from being undrafted to, you know, going overseas. You started out in Italy. You went to Germany. Didn't you play in a Trincaria, I think, at Bamberg?
In Italy. He was my first coach.
Italy, he was your first coach. Okay, so I mean, you got you a Euro Cup, man. You got you EuroLeagues after EuroLeagues after EuroLeagues. You got you. I mean, I'm sitting at the table right now with two people that have a defensive player of the year for the EuroLeague, man. I mean, that's one thing I don't have. I don't hold that.
You ain't got none of that. You ain't got none of that. You ain't got none of hate.
You know, we talking to some people that had years and years of experience, champions, won championships, you know, for a long time, man. You did it at a high level, man, and that's just a high respect as an American. You're probably the most decorated one, you know, so salute you, know, for real.
Appreciate it.
Like GOAT shit.
Congrats on the
career. That's a real conversation.
I appreciate it, man.
When it comes
I appreciate it. But I mean, like honestly, like we pushed each other, right? So like when I first got to, got to our workouts, I'm coming from a small school. And, you know, I know James. Like, I know James. I know University of Maryland. I seen the highlights. I seen them on Sports Center, dumping on cats. Mm-hmm. So it was like, you know, like, I think like each one of us like raised each other's level. Right. I knew Steph when Steph was in UMass and he was blocking shots and leading the nation and block shots and, you know, seeing where he was getting throughout his career. I think like, you know, I would check the box scores. Like, I would check the box scores. I'm like, yo, Steph doing this. Gis is doing this. Even when we was overseas, I was just like, yo, I got to raise my level. Gis, when you got the Partizan, I was just like, yo, I got to get the EuroLeague. You know, Steph, when you was doing what you was doing, I was like, I got to get here. So I think, like, all three of us, I think, like, you know, even though, like, we cool, you know, but I think we all had, like, that friendly competition with each other because, like, we knew that, you know, we wanted to, you know, be the best, you know, in our group or the best undersized center or whatever. But yeah, like I always said before, man, I want to give you guys your flowers, man, because I appreciate you guys. Because I think, you know, you guys definitely pushed me and helped me kind of continue to want to raise my level of competition. So
iron definitely sharp as iron, man. Iron sharp as iron. You know, you pushed us to the limit as well. I definitely give you that.
Oh yeah. You definitely pushed us. I mean, when you messed up is when you won EuroLeague. I'm like, hell no, we cannot pass up this opportunity to win this thing right here. What? And you won it with Olympiacos that year? I was like, no, this is the time right here. If there is anything, we can't lose today. We got everything.
Facts.
Dudes just look at the computer, like EuroLeague.net. Oh, he won again. Okay. No, we got it. JG. I tell you, every night we plotted on you, man. Every night. We
already know.
Every night during, I'm talking like strictly like the first final we played. I mean, we really sat there and said, man, he's the only guy that we really got to worry about. If we take him out, the whole tough guy.
Everything goes down.
Everything crumbles.
We had to take you out first, man. That was I will tell you that. You definitely pushed us, bro.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story though. Like, so like when I was in Greece, like this was some like motivating factor. I would be walking around, people be like, James Gis, like James Gis, or they'd be like, Steph Lasme. I ain't Steph Lasme. So like I was like, you know what? Like that was a motivating factor for me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure these people when I walk around, they know my name. Because y'all like coming from Panathinaikos, like y'all was everything. You know what I mean? At that time, like Olympiacos, we hadn't won anything. Like we had won the EuroLeague, but we hadn't won what you guys had won coming from that tradition. Mm-hmm. So I remember like that. I used to walk around and be like, yo, that's James Gis. And I'll be like, nah. And I'll be like, that was like a motivating factor for me. I was like, you know, like I gotta push myself because, you know what I mean, I want these people to remember my name. Like, so like I said before, like you said, like you guys are motivated from me. I was motivated from you guys as well. So like I said, it was all iron sharp as iron.
When did you get hip to EuroLeague? Did you know about EuroLeague prior to going overseas and like not getting drafted and stuff like that, or is that like something that you would like always aspire to?
I had really no idea. The guy that I did train with when I was down in Carolina, he had been telling me about Maccabi Tel Aviv, and he just kept telling me about how Maccabi was like the Lakers of Europe and all this different type of stuff. So I only really knew like of the big teams. I knew like Maccabi, and I knew of Josh Childress when Josh Childress signed that big contract with Olympiacos. Yeah. So I really didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know what like EuroLeague was. I only knew of like the names of certain teams. So I had no idea about like overseas basketball. Like I literally went over there blind. I didn't know there was different divisions. I didn't know anything. So I literally just like, talked to my agent. My agent was like, yo, these are the teams interested. I signed a contract. I met Trinkitty. The next day I was gone. So like I really had no idea about what EuroLeague was. And then at the time, like we old, like there wasn't no YouTube and Google and all that stuff back then. It was like you just went over. So
right.
Yeah, I had no idea, bro. Honestly, no idea.
What about you, Steph? When was the first time you heard or figured out about EuroLeague? Did you know about it beforehand, or?
No, I heard about EuroLeague when I got to Serbia. I mean, and Serbia got the Adriatic League, the local league, the Serbian league, and the EuroLeague.
Right.
So I played 70% of the season. I didn't even think about there was a thing called the Final Four. I could just playing and trying to win games, but even by the time you get a older player, you start to doing the math like everybody else. Like if we win this game, we might get this position. Man, I played the whole season. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Right.
I was just playing, and honestly, I was playing and just being mad that I was there. First of all, because you're a kid, you just got there, you just don't know how grateful you are.
Yeah.
We get there, I was just mad that I was there, always thinking that you should be somewhere else, looking at other players playing on bigger teams, and you realize like it's kind of it's a level to this, right? You're in Serbia playing for Partizan. It's a cool situation, but it's not. You're not treated the same as a Barcelona,
right?
And you can tell by just watching the game and all that stuff. So I discovered everything right on that, playing against guys and stuff, playing against teams, see how they come in the city, or we go to their city and we see how different they're getting treated. And we were in Partizan, like different level of contract. When I learned about the contract, that was like
crazy, right? It's
mind blowing
shit, man. It's real, bro. It really is levels to this shit, and I didn't realize that either. Like to the point I was saying, like when I found out about EuroLeague, my first year, I got drafted by the Spurs, and Pop, he called me, right before training camp started. Was like, "Yo, you gonna go overseas for a year?" I'm like, "Man, fuck, why I gotta go overseas for a year?" And he was just like, I killed summer league. I'm ready to go to training camp, and boom, it's lit. So he's like, "Nah, you're not gonna play." He was like, we got Mike Finley. They got Richard Jefferson, Antonio McDyess, Theo Ratliff, Tim Duncan, Matt Bonner, who was shooting 60% from the three. So that's six bigs. He was like, you're not going to play. Like, even if you do play good, you're just not going to play. He was like, it's better that you get the experience, you get the playing time, how we play. We'll monitor you, we'll come over, all that stuff. So cool. Boom, I go to Italy my first year with Biella. And my point guard, Joe Smith, he's an agent now, I think, with Lasme Group. Maybe don't quote me on that, but he's an agent now. He represents a lot of players in the league. He took me out to dinner one night, and he was like, let's go watch EuroLeague game. Siena was one of the top teams in the EuroLeague at that time. They were the top team in Italy for sure. They were blowing everybody out, by 30. So I'm thinking like, Terrell McIntyre, Sean Stonebrook, Dharma Kent, Calcanis, those dudes killing. I'm sitting here like, this is the best team I ever seen, at a professional level. And so he's like, man, they're playing some team called Panathinaikos. Mind you, I didn't know, fast forward, that I'd be playing for this team. Didn't know I was watching, the champions or what they had been doing for so many years. I wasn't hip to it at all. And so I'm sitting here like, all right, Siena got the home game. They probably about to beat the shit out of this team. Man, we turned the game on. Powell was up 30. They dusted him on by 30. And I'm sitting there like, who is this? I'm watching the game like,
these guys.
Whatever level this is, because this ain't first division Italy. Clearly, this team is from Greece. They're playing, Siena, who's the champion in Italy at the time. It's like, man, what league is this? I need to know what league this is. If I'm not going to be in the NBA, I for sure need to be
I
in
want
this
to be
joint,
there.
one way or another. And I didn't know how to get there. Eventually, it planned out to be there, but that was my take on it, and how I got there. And once I found out, my first year, like Steph said, in Partizan, you get there, you just playing. You don't realize,
Yeah.
games you got to win. You don't realize, the levels to it or nothing.
Hooping.
You're going
Yeah,
against
you just
none of
hooping.
that. My first big game, we played Maccabi the first game, and we got dusted by like 20. But my first like big time matchup was Mirza Teletovic when he was in Baskonia. And he had just came in the ACB.
Cold.
He might have had 11 threes. And I mean, the coach gave me the highlight and was like, here, you need to watch this before we play tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch it, check it out. I'm just coming from San Antonio. I'm pissed that I'm even over here. So I'm like, I'm about to kill everybody anyway. This dude hit 11 threes. He pulling up from half court. He got an ultimate green light, fed green light type thing. You feel me?
Wrong.
Just pulling up. And he's 6'8", 6'9", athletic, can really go. I'm like, damn, this is who I got to play tomorrow. And it was just that. And I'm like, okay, so it's some dudes that can really boogie over here. You really got to come ready. And so from then on, you learn the different levels to it. My next year was Fenerbahce. Then after that, you know how it goes on. And then we ended up in Greece together. But it's just funny to hear the stories about how you found out about EuroLeague or how people found out about EuroLeague in general and what, kept you going in that direction,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a question for both of y'all. Like when did y'all, because I think about this all the time. Like when did y'all like stop being, like we talked about before, stop being pissed off that you in Europe because you're not, like, stop being mad that you're not in the league? Like when did you like be like, yo, I could actually make like a life or a living and like playing overseas? Like you stop worrying about the league. Like when was that for both of y'all?
I mean, I want to say, my short answer is after the first year in Partizan, I was sold on being in Europe.
Yeah.
I was sold on just having a career instead
Yeah.
of just chasing the league.
Yeah.
But the way what was different about me is because my family, with my wife and my kids were in the States, and I was playing in Europe, and I have the Gabon passport. So for me to get back to the States, I had to just every year, the whole time I was playing, I just had to find the summer league team that would invite me, and I get in the States. So I would just show up in Vegas, sit on the bench, wait, and just yeah, man. That's how I got back in the States. So to me, I was always involved in summer league, so I always was kind of saw what's happening. But really, after Serbia, just my first contract was like maybe like $250, man, and just seeing that amount of money that I just stacked up during the year, and I didn't have to really worry about paying for stuff because they give you the house, the car, minimum amount of money in Serbia get you to eat. So I got to stack up all this money, not spend much, and just come home and sit during the summer and just don't think about it. No problem, just chilling. This is when I said, nah, I'm good. I'm good with you. I'll pay go. Just play basketball, stack up all year, and just bring that cash back to the house, sit during the summer, do that shit again. So that's how I was thinking every year after that. But really, yeah, man, first year I was done.
Yeah, nah.
How about you, Jay?
I always wanted to try to get back to the league because I felt like I didn't get that opportunity. With San Antonio, I felt like it was short-lived because of the situation. It wasn't because of my ability. It was because of the numbers, It didn't have to do with basketball. And that's another side. It's the business side when it comes to it. So I felt like I didn't get a fair shot. But at the same time, I was living the life in Europe, man. Like, you understand how it is, when you got a whole country, not just the city or just something. You got a whole country. Like, they pulling up. Like, everybody recognize you. You treated like the star over there. And so even though I was going through that, the one year that I had the opportunity to move on was the year I went to Fenerbahce. That was the year of the NBA lockout. I had the opportunity to sign with Denver when I was about to leave Partizan. But there was a threat of the NBA lockout. And so they was like, man, you could either wait, see what happens, or you sign with Fener and keep going on with your career over here. And then, we'll do it as that goes. So, of course, signed with Fener. Never got that opportunity. And then about my third or fourth year in PAL, I think me and my wife were out, and this was preseason, man. We got into an argument one time. We got into an argument about it because she was like, look, you at the top of your game, you're living a life, what is it that you really want? What are you doing this for? And I really had to sit there and think about it because I felt like I didn't get a fair shot. I was hot, man. I was like, man, I deserve to be over there. And she was just like, you getting paid, we living good, the family's here, everything's cool, you the man. Like, if you go to the league, you can go to the league, but are you going to be living like this? Are you cool with that? And I was just like, you're right. Because at one time, she was professional at what she did. She did theatrical dance, and she was really good. She had an accident, and so she wasn't able to continue on with her career. And so she just had to have a conversation with me like, look, you're living your dream. This is the dream of basketball. What's the dream, right? So you really got to ask yourself, what's your motivation behind it? Why are you doing it? And so when I asked myself that, I was like, yo, you're right. I'm in Greece right now. You walk in Oaxaca. We had 30,000 in there one time, Steph. 30K.
Everyone loves
And
you.
everybody love you, man.
Everyone loves
They
you.
show you love, man. You want to give that up for what? Kendrick Nunn's saying that now. Kendrick Nunn's saying it right now.
Yeah.
He got him
exactly.
early. This man ain't even thinking about going back to the States, bro. You
No.
see how it's going. Jabari Parker dealt with it in Barcelona. You feel me? For him, he's going through a lot of injuries in his career. And for him to step out and come overseas and now go to a space where they accepted him and he gets to enjoy and understand how basketball is really played. For hoopers, we really want to play the right way to win and stuff like this. And for him to enjoy it and still be over here and enjoy it. You got guys coming over here left and right that are really understanding what that experience is like, man. And so it really is real, man. That's a real question, God, for real.
Wow. For me, it was like when we got to Greece, like honestly, like I was still chasing the league up until like that lockout year. I got to Greece, the Olympiacos, that lockout year, and like once I realized like I can really like I talked to Mike Batiste, and once I talked to Mike, he totally switched my whole type mentality when I got there. Like I sat down and I was talking to him, and I was like, yo, you doing this? Like you've been over here for how long? And I was like, and then not the whole like money. That wasn't necessarily like the motivation, but at the same time, you see how much he's making and how long he's been over there and how successful and how loved he is. And I was like, I could now I can see myself like having a career and like staying here. And at that moment, like I just stopped chasing the league. I was just like, I'm just going to like whatever happens. Like I'm gonna be like I'm trying to play at the highest level possible, and that whether that's in Europe, the NBA, whatever. And that kind of like shift my whole mentality. Like after having a conversation with him, so. Yeah, I mean, I always wonder like when guys kind of figure that out or when guys like look at that because that's always like kind of like I always look at like the hinder like when guys come over it's like you most of the time you pissed off that you there
right
and then trying to
So what are your thoughts about this NBA Europe thing that might be in discussion and things like trying to get something in the league going as far as that? Because I mean, how the competition is in EuroLeague. You know what it's been from the time when we were playing to what it's grown to now. Do you think that you should mess with that? Do you think that like this is something positive? Do you what are your thoughts on that? Do you have freedom to speak about it?
I mean, it's interesting. I think it's definitely interesting. I mean, first of all, the fact that the NBA wants to come to Europe, I think this shows the how great the product is over in Europe. You look at the fans, you look at everything. So for me, I'm gonna get a political answer saying that I want what's best for European basketball. My only goal is that whatever happens out of this is that that all the EuroLeague, the NBA, FIBA, whatever it is, like they try to do what's best for the fans and they try to do what's best for EuroLeague or EuroLeague basketball as a whole, because I think that should be the main goal. I think you look over there, it is, the second best league in the world, but I definitely think it has the, some of the best fans in the world, like the pride, what people, take about basketball, how they feel about the game, how they feel about their teams is a lot different. Like we know it. How people in Greece feel about Panathinaikos and Olympiacos is a lot different than how they feel about, teams or fandom here. So I think, like I said, I think that I guess the short answer is that I just hope that I look at it as interesting, but I just hope that like whatever happens that, basketball in Europe is able to be elevated the way that it should be.
Gotcha. Respect.
Yeah. Keep the NBA out. Keep the NBA out and save our product, man. Get them out of there. Unless it's a great business deal for us, keep them out, man. I think we should keep the same product. It's what's working for the European leagues, for Europeans in general, and for us, foreign players that are coming in. We're playing a different type of basketball. Although I love watching NBA, but I think the basketball and EuroLeague should just stay the same, with its own rules, its own way of playing. That's what makes it fun, man. But I have one question for you, Kyle. You play for some of the best coaches in EuroLeague. I mean, you listen to the coaches that you play for, So I was wondering, like, I mean, I don't want to ask you the easy question, who is the best coach that you have, because it's going to be difficult for you to choose, obviously. But which one? Jens and I have a thing with coaches being able to get in your head without even knowing to get you better, right? And what is the coach like? What was that guy that was in your that got in your head so hard? That guy got in your head that and made you better, even though you were fighting for it. And I have a story for you. I have a story for you before you go.
Yeah.
We had the coach in Panathinaikos. You know, until today, he tells me it's because of him that I won Defensive Player of the Year. But we used to James and I used to call him the ninja because he would just get in our head. So one way he would get to motivate us when we play against you, he would say he knew what we wanted to do because he put limits in the way we could play. You know how European coach put limits in the way you play.
Yeah.
And he would say, "Man, you guys don't even know Carl Hines is the best ball handling big man in Europe." This thing he used to say that on purpose, though, but he would get us better because he would get ready to go against you because he knew we wanted to be able to handle the ball on the floor. We knew we could, but he had limitation. He was a tougher guy. When you get the rebound, pass the ball to the guard. Do not, you know.
Nah, pass the ball. Pass the ball to them.
Here I am. I'm waving guys off. I'm waving Theodosius and Billy off. I'm like, nah, I got this. Go ahead, y'all.
Let's go, Kyle. You get the rebound. Out. Boom.
So when people said who's one of the best coaches you had, I know he is, right? But I know he had a way to get into my head, right? To stop me from doing things, to make me do positive things. And I want to know who's that guy for you? Who's that guy for you?
So yeah, like you said, I mean, I've been fortunate, like very fortunate to have like some of the best coaches in Europe. You know, to work with them. So, I mean, it's always a hard answer because I think I'll learn. So like I'm big at like just like soaking up knowledge and like soaking up game and picking up game. So like I try to pick up game from like everybody I meet. And I think, you know, the coaches that have all been around, like they've definitely allowed me, and I've definitely been able to like really soak up a lot of game. But I'm gonna say like because I was with him the longest, and I think he helped me raise my level of my career at a time where I was kind of unsure about myself. I'm gonna say that was Coach Tudors. You know, I think he definitely because I had gone from when I was in Olympiacos, and I was arguably probably like one of the top, let's say, American players. You know, going to when I went to go to Cheska, right?
Right.
And I don't think many people remember. Like I didn't play in Cheska. Like I didn't play. Like I was like I had some minutes, but it was our roster and our team was like so deep that like it was difficult for me to get on the floor. We already had 3 centers. We had Sasha Khan, we had Nita Kirstich. We eventually got like I think we had Karolinko one year. So you know we had Victor Krapa. We had like all these guys. So I'm coming from like Olympiacos where it was like literally like that last year with Joey left. I literally can do whatever I wanted to because I knew that like you know I was going to play this amount of time. So here I am going to Cheska, and I remember we played Nanterre the very first game, and I missed 2 like offensive rebound, 2 box out assignments or something like that, and then coach would see the bench me, and I didn't play the rest of the game. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So like that whole entire season, like, and I understand like what he was doing and why he was doing it. But like my confidence, low key, was at like an all time low because I was just coming out like I was just here, and I was like second guessing my, you know, going to Russia. I was second guessing everything.
Definitely.
So like when I had Coach Tudors, he really came and like just gave me confidence. He was like, listen, like yo, you're gonna be our guy. And he was like, you know, he had ways of like motivating me. He had ways of like, you know, days where he would yell at me and curse me out. There's days where he would kind of like big me up. We lived in the same apartment building. So there was days where he would just come down and we would just talk. There's other days where, you know, like we'd be on the same elevator. He didn't say one word to me after like a bad game or whatever. So like, it was like little things that he knew, like to try to push me to, you know, to raise my level. And then even like the last 2 years, like he named me captain, which is like, y'all know me, like I'm not the most talkative person, the most like boisterous person. I like kind of like chilling being in the background. But he was like, listen, like, I know this is not a comfortable role for you, but I see something bigger than you that's going to last, not only for while you playing, but like for your career is over. So I'm going to name you captain because I can see the way that you lead and different things that you're doing. And like, it may put you in an uncomfortable role, but you need to do this in order for you to be a better player. So I think he forced me to like be in a position to kind of like not only play, but also like lead individuals. So I would definitely say him, man, like, cause he had the ability just because we knew each other. And we had a lot of like nonverbal type of like communications. Like sometimes he didn't even have to say it. It was just like a look. And I already knew it was like, all right, man, I'm over here BSing. Like I got to turn it up a little bit. So I
Right.
think definitely him. I think he was the guy that definitely helped me kind of raise to a different level in my career for sure.
In that aspect, like, what would be your advice to young players coming up right now, or players right now that are involved in the EuroLeague, Americans coming over to try to get, established in Europe in general? Like, what would be your advice to them as far as kind of accepting the roles that are being presented to you, and also understanding that, you're in a situation where you should probably accept where you're at, and try to make the best of it. Because, like you said, like, when was it when we stopped trying to chase a lead? When was it when we settled into what we were actually doing and really tried to, like, get the best out of it? What would be your advice to players like that? Because you're going to come across coaches that you're going to deal with, and it's like, damn, what the fuck? Like, you're not going to know how to adjust. A lot of players tap out. So how do you not tap out? Like, what would be your suggestion and your advice?
I would say, first of all, like my first thing is always like, the moment that I stopped worrying about stats and like individual performance, and I started focusing on like team goals and trying to do whatever I could possibly do to help the team win, because that's what matters most in Europe. We've gotten our biggest contracts when our team has won and have done well after that. So for me, that was the first thing. Like, don't worry about like your individual goals. Like, start buying into like what the team does. Buy into like the buy into winning, because winning is the way that you can get anything you want. That's what over there. So I would say that's number one. Number two, I always say like you got to really lock into like where you're at. Like, don't worry about what's home. Don't worry about things going on in the States. Like, really lock into where you at, because the moment that you lock into where you at, that's where you start really buying into like what's going to happen there. So I always tell guys, like, don't sit in your apartment and sit there and just playing PlayStation or not leave. Like, go out, experience the city, learn the language, go out with some of your, like when we was in Greece, go out with some of your Greek teammates, go
Right.
to some of these places, go to the Bazookies, go to
Right.
go to the beach, go to their house for dinner, like go
Right.
all these different places, because like once you do those things and you really kind of buy in, then you're gonna notice that like it's going to like really have like a dramatic change in how you play and how you feel about it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
if you sitting there mad, like we talked about before, if you mad that you there, then not really going to ever like really get a chance to really experience, really enjoy the experience for what it is. So
Facts.
I would say that. And lastly, I would say just be elite in your role. Like, they're bringing you over for a reason. Try to find a way to be elite in your role. Like for me, like once I started buying into, like I said before, like I was trying to be the best screener possible. I'm here playing with Spanulis, Nano DeColo, Sergio Rodriguez, Milos Teodosic. Like, I would go into the game and be like, yo, how can I get them open shots?
Facts.
I was like, if I get them open shots, like that's gonna make my job a lot easier. So all I was like, yo, how if they had a bad game, I was like, then it's on me, because I didn't do my job to get them open. So I was like, how can I get them open shots? And then, like I said, once I started buying into defense, like my coach in Bamberg, he once told me, because I used to be like he coming into college, like I was a good defender, but I was like one of those ones that gambled. I was trying to get block shots. I was trying to do all that
Facts.
different type of stuff. And he was like, yo, if you just lock in and be solid and worry about your matchup, then he was like, you could be one of the best defenders over here. So like once I started, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna lock in on my matchup. I'm gonna talk on defense, and I'm gonna set screens. And once I worried about those three things, like my career kind of took off. So I would say like, yo, simplify the game, enjoy the reason why you're over there, and make the most of your opportunity while you're there. And like I said, you're gonna deal with some BS just because like that's just what it is. Like, overseas basketball isn't necessarily pretty. Like, there's no perfect situation in overseas basketball.
Facts.
Everywhere you go, you're going to deal with something. But you always got to look at the bigger picture in your mind. Like, do I really need to like go crazy or spaz out because of this or whatever it is? Like, you really got to think about the bigger picture. So those are the things I always tell young players. Like, go over there and just really enjoy the experience, because like here we are, talking about our experience over there. And I would say like, I played over there for 16 years. You guys played over there for double digit years. And I would say like those experiences are probably some of the best experience of my life, but also like my family's lives, my kids' lives. Like, we talk about those experiences all the time. So it's like, while you're there, try to make the most of it, because if you do it the right way, like we all know that you could be, you could be a legend there, and you can go back there and be there for the rest of your life. So
Real
Yeah.
spill. Real spill.
You said some other stuff, man. I heard some. What is I don't know what it is. Can you tell a friend what Bazooki is? Because I don't know. I never been to one.
Oh, you never been? You over here lying to the people? you going straight up and lie to the people?
I had to. I've never been to one. I've never been to one, but I just wonder what's happening in Bazookies,
Man, it's one of those. It's one of them ones. It's one of them ones where if I tell you, it's better for me to show you than tell you, right? Like,
yeah. You just have to be there.
You just gotta be there. Like, I mean, it's a Greek live music. That's the best way to say it.
It's the party after. Let's just go ahead.
It's the party after the party. It's a Greek live music club where they play these different songs. I think bouzouki is an instrument. I think it's the guitar, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to
right.
I don't want to mess it up. But it's like a string instrument.
Right.
But you go in there and pretty much the main aspect is you all at these tables. You sit at these tables. You know what I mean? There's probably, I don't know, let's say 500, 600 people, and they're basically watching this person perform on stage. And then basically what it is that you drinking, you having a good time, and then you getting flowers, like plates of flowers.
Stacks
like this. Stacks. Stacks of flowers. So you paying for these flowers, and it's probably the dumbest concept ever, but whatever. totally a stupid concept, but you taking these flowers and you just throw them at the guy on stage. Or, I mean, for the single folks out there, you throwing them at a girl. You see a girl you like, pick up the flowers.
Smack him in the head.
Smack her in the head. Let her know.
Throw him. The harder you throw him, the more you love him.
Exactly. Boom. I'm talking about, man. We like the way. I don't know what I should be saying, but the way that they have bottle wars over here.
Yeah.
We have flower. Like we used to have flower wars. Like, oh, he just ordered 15 flowers. Give me 20. Give me 20 plates.
For real.
He ordered. Keep them coming. I remember we was in there one time, and there was literally like a line, and like it was just the girls like just holding the flowers, and then they would just take it. They would just drop them off the table. Somebody would catch them, throw it. Somebody else would come drop it off, just throw it. Like, yeah, man.
Hey, you're in there when you win the championship. You're in there when you win the championship. That's it.
When you win the championship.
when you win the championship, you're in there. You win the championship, it's over. They got the whole place for yourself, man. You got a whole place for yourself.
And you walk out of there, you be like, yo, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
It's 8 o'clock. What the hell happened? Like, I just got there. It was just my time. Yeah, championship night. Yeah, but I think we want to talk about this that day, the cup game, when my people shot you while you weren't paying attention. Because I know if you saw this coming, you would have ducked that thing. But I didn't see it, man. I only saw the video. That's what I mentioned last time. So I was very interested in getting your point of view on that story.
So, I mean, you guys already know. So, like, we play the cup. So the cup, I think Gis already explained it before. So when you playing this cup, it's the only time that Olympiacos and Panathinaikos fans is in the same arena, right? It's in a neutral arena, but it's not really a neutral arena. It's in a arena in the middle of the airport. There's an old airport in Athens. They put an arena there. And then you only play in this arena one time a year for the cup. So they got Olympiacos fans on one end zone, Panathinaikos fans on the other end zone. In between, it's the whole entire Greek police force sitting in between the fans, right? So before you get there, I don't know if y'all told this, but it was like you pulling up like you the president. Like,
oh yeah.
you hop on the bus, and it's literally like you got a full-on motorcade. You got police, like 3 or 4 police buses, like following your bus, basically like in enclosure in your bus.
Yeah.
So that way, like there's no, like nobody can get around, like nobody can get in between. And then as you drive into the game, they shutting down every single road as you go into the game. So like the way you see like you watch Coming to America, the way you see like my man pull up from the airport and the way he's pulling up, like that's the same way like we pull up. Or you watch like President Obama or like, the presidents or whatever, they pull like kings pull up. Like that's the way we pulling up to the game, right? So your adrenaline is already high. Like you already like you've been hearing this all week talking about everywhere you go, everybody's talking about F Panathinaikos, F Olympiacos, this, that, and the other. You better not do this. So your adrenaline is already pumped, right? You up, right? You up right now. You up. So you walking in the game, it's almost like a boxing match. So you walking in the game, you ready to go. So like I said, you walk into the atmosphere. So I'm out there warming up, and I'm so locked in focus. Like I didn't even realize like I was the last one on the floor. So I'm just going through my warm up routine, doing what I usually do, doing everything I do, and I'm seeing the flares. But like I'm prideful right now. I'm like, man, I ain't going nowhere. Like I ain't moving. Like it's my court. I'm here. Like, I'm here.
When I seen them going like this, I was like,
I'm here. Yeah, man, that's what I'm telling about my teammates. Cause ain't nobody tapped me. Ain't nobody gave me the heads up. Ain't like I was wearing headphones. Everybody was like, "Hey, yo, time to go." Like,
time to go. Nobody.
Yeah, I'm out there prideful. I'm like, nah, they might not knock me off my. Like, I'm out here. I'm gonna do my routine. So I'm still doing my routine. I see the flares going back and forth. And it's like literally like these ain't small flares. These are like these big like little July 4th like Roman candle type joints like like back and forth. So I'm at the free throw line and I'm just getting my free throws about to finish up my routine. All of a sudden I hear shoo, and this joint just hit me right in the back of my head, like right in the, like somebody you young, somebody slap you in the back of your head. That's the way it felt. Hit me right in the back of my head. Boom. I fall down on the ground. I'm like, yo, what happened? I don't even want to get up. I'm like, yo, what happened? I brushed my pants off. My pants is on fire, so I'm brushing my pants off.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my pants is on fire. So then I run out and I run to the hallway. And I'm sitting there holding my head. I'm just like, yo, what happened? And then I was just like, you know what? Like I'm still prideful. I'm still out there adrenaline going. I'm like, man, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm good, but I'm still holding my head. I get to the locker room. Right before I get to the locker room, I sit down, and this is the messed up part. This is the fucked up part, right? I'm sitting there, everybody looking at me like it's just nothing, this normal. I'm like, y'all just got hit in the head with a flare.
What you want them to do?
I don't know what I want them to do. I'm thinking they going to do something. I think we gonna protest.
We're gonna protest something.
We gonna do something like.
They say
guys, we're not playing. We're not playing.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're gonna do something. I'm sitting down. I'm like, yo, I just got hit. My pants has got burn marks on them. Coach Projokis just gets up like nothing happened. Starts writing the game plan on the board. I'm sitting there hot. I'm like, yo, this is
no way. Oh,
that's what escalated everything though. Because after that happened, bro, the game didn't get past the second quarter.
No, because
second quarter, bro.
But you remember what else happened though? So we out there warming up. Obviously, they still shooting the flares or whatever. And I'm still tight. I'm like, yo, my teammates look at me like it was just normal. Like this is just what happens. Like suck it up. Like what I mean. Like you be telling your kids like, get up. Like what you over here crying for? Get up. Like we got a game to play. I'm tight. I'm sitting there like, yo, I just got hit with a flare. Like, and we still want to move on. Like this nothing just happened. So we in a warm up line, and then the one fight breaks out. So they had to stop. Then we end up playing. And I don't think y'all remember. You remember Bramos got hit with a boulder?
With a boulder, bro. He got boulder in the shoulder.
But I was right there. I was right next to him. This guy pulled out a half a boulder out of his pocket and just chucked that joint on the court and threw it at him.
Dude, when I seen the lighters and I seen little rocks slide by because we were taking the ball out right in front of your bench. And I seen that all the referees were at the table, and I seen that all the Panathinaikos fans and my bench was way down there. And so I'm sitting here just like, nah, I don't need to be over here right now. There's nobody else to protect me, man. So I start walking this way. As soon as I start walking this way, here come Bramos and Marcus Banks. Marcus Banks bringing Bramos' arm is leaking, bro. He got hit in the arm. I'm sitting like, nah, hell nah, this is crazy.
Bro, the rock was like this big. Like it had to be as big as the basketball. I don't know how he got it in the game, and I don't know what tempted this guy to throw it. But he literally ran to the sideline, chucked that joint like he was throwing a shot put.
Yeah,
it hit Bramos in the shoulder.
And to that, reason is why I feel like that rivalry between Panathinaikos and Olympiacos, goes further than all the other ones because you can't have them in the gym at the same time. Like we literally had nets around the court. We had nets around the court to even play, bro. That's crazy. You got to play.
The crazy thing about it all that happened. So, and then I think at the start of the third quarter, there was a riot. So all the fans, they all met in the middle and they just all started fighting. So we had people in the stands. So we had to go. I don't know if your family was there, but we had family members in the stands.
I was there, but they had
so we had to when they started fighting, all the police officers left. They just left them butt naked out there. So we were running to the sidelines, grabbing them, trying to put them in the locker room. Right. And the crazy thing about it, people don't understand, we still finished the game.
We had to finish the game. We still had to finish the game.
This is one game. All this happened, and we still finished the game. We still finished the game.
10 nails on, man. She left the game with probably 3 on this jump and 2 on this one. She was just yo, look at my hands. Man, they didn't tell me it was like this. And I'm just man, I didn't know it was like that because they told all the players to go to the back they was going to handle everything. And the fan wasn't cool. Nah, that joint was lit. Not lit, but it was crazy. But that's what it is, man, over there. When you're dealing with European basketball, it's nothing. You will never see nothing like that in the States. Never seen nothing.
No, and it's that's why you said that's why it's probably the greatest rivalry, in sports. Because one of the greatest, especially in Europe. Because you said, both the teams is in there, and like I said, there's such an animosity. It shuts the city down. There's such an animosity between both the teams.
Yeah.
That it's impossible to have them both in the same gyms. It's impossible. I think now they play on. I think they play on an island. They don't even play in Athens anymore. The cup.
That's true.
They play on an island, and then, like I said, and it was a little bit different now because we didn't play each other in EuroLeague at that time. We only played each other. We only played each other during the year. So yeah. So man, it was it was different, man. That game always stood out to me. And it was on YouTube. I don't know if it's still on YouTube anymore when I got shot in the head.
It's on clips.
It was on YouTube.
It's clips. Tony got him. He gone. Tony got him.
It was on YouTube for a minute, man. So
stuff really went down. I know we probably about to get to the end of things. One thing I really wanted to ask you before you got out of here too was what was some of your toughest matchups, playing against, defensively? You were a defensive player of the year, multiple times in the EuroLeague. Was it guards? Was it bigs? Was it wings? I have my picks on who were my hardest players to guard in EuroLeague. For you, who would it be? Who would you consider some of your hardest players or hardest defensive matchups?
I think, I don't know if it was necessarily just players. I think it was systems. I think the system you guys ran in PAL, I think was always difficult because you always had a really great point guard. So whether or not it was Nick, or whether or not it was Yamaditas, so it was you had great guys always kind of pick you be able to pick the defense apart. And you two, both you guys was always above the rim. So I still remember the kind of the run out you would do when you would fake the screen, you would fake the wide pin down, and you would run for the lob. Little things like that was difficult to guard because you guys was always trying to do different slips and that different type of stuff. So I think from there, I think you two definitely were difficult matchups because like you said before, I think it was a little bit different us playing on you guys was playing on Panathinaikos. So I think we always raised our level of play when we played against each other. I would say guard wise, Shane Larkin was always tough. Just because he's just so quick. He gets so low to the ground. I know that he wants to go left. Yeah. And once he kind of gets that crossover going, Mike, obviously, Mike James. You played with him and then played against him. Once he's able to get his, he's the. I tell him all the time, he's the best difficult shot maker in basketball. If you leave him open, if you make him he's better at making a 1-footed runner or a step back going left than he is making a regular pull up jumper. Right. So I think him. We talk about Mirza Tebelevich, he gave us 41 one game. I think he was always difficult. Sergio Yule, man. He's unpredictable. He's one of those players you don't know. He don't know what I feel like he don't know what he's going to do, right? So it's how do you match up against somebody that you don't know what he's going to do?
He's always on go mode. For me, those type of players were always the hardest players to guard. Is that they're not sitting there playing with the ball. They're not sitting there trying to, get you to move one way and shift you another. They're getting right to it. And Serge, he was definitely one of the ones that was always on go. Now that's some real points right there. For me, it wasn't necessarily the guards. I don't really look at too many guards that gave me trouble. Ewell was definitely one of them as far as like impossible shot makers. The shots he would make at the end of the buzzer is just like, yo, like you played the best defense you can and he still cooked. Same with Mike James as far as that goes. That's just a natural talent for them. And Spanulis too. No matter what he did during the year or during the game, I mean, he could score 6 points the entire game, but that last 4 minutes, 5 minutes of the game, bro, for at least 8, 9 seasons legit, he was probably one of the hardest people to guard, man. You never knew what he was going to do.
The game winner on you.
Yeah.
The step back, like
he pulled the timeline. He pulled up from the timeline. I'm thinking he about to do his little ball.
But I feel like you knew, like you like everybody knew he was going to shoot. You knew it was coming. This is like it's one of the ones.
I knew it was coming. I didn't know it was coming that quick. I didn't know he was going to go one dribble and go for the shot because he had like 5-6 seconds. So I'm like, they at least get to the 3-point line. He got that joint inbound and took one dribble, let that bitch fly. He wasn't going, but that's why I said that's the hardest thing to guard, where somebody just gets right to it as a part of trying to set something up. If you set something up, I've already timed it. I've already got my space. I already know where I'm gonna catch you at. I already know where I'm sending you. So, but with players like that, for me, the hardest guards though, like the hardest players to guard were like those Jokic type players, bro. Those bigs like Bjelica, not the Nemanja Bjelica. That was big one. It was a Red Star.
Big slappy Serbian.
Huh?
Big slappy Serbian.
Yeah, man.
The big dude with all the moves.
Samanovic that played at Ephes. Like one that footwork. They weren't athletic. They had a good shot, but they always made you feel like you were late. Even if you weren't. You always as athletic as you were and being able to catch them. They always hit you with the fakes and things like this. And Prentezis was another one who was one of the hardest guys that I had to play against at guard and had to prepare myself for because, and my coach and pal used to say this, the one that Steph was talking about the mind games, the ninja. He used to say, Greek dancing, man. He used to dance. He was like, all the fakes, he dance, man. He said, just stay down. Don't go for
I was lucky because I played with him for 2 years, and I would literally, like I said, I'll be soaking up games. I'll be watching him. So I knew what he was. I knew the end result of all those fakes. I knew that he was trying to do something just to get back to his go-to move. So I would literally just sit on it, and I would just wait, and then, not let him get to his go-to move. Like, he's definitely like one-on-one.
He was shooting floaters from the 3-point line, like 10, 15 foot.
Yeah.
You can't, like, nah, I'm sorry. He was one of the toughest guards, like, for me personally, and I had to get ready, like you said. Like, we motivated each other. You, especially, like, Prentezis was another one. Like, Billy, y'all were motivational when it came to matchups, man. That's why I think they were so intense, and I think that's why a lot of them will go down in the history books, bro.
Kyle, we're for sure gonna have you back.
Yeah, man. We got sure. We got stories for days, man. There's so many things that we haven't even like touched on.
The amount of accolades between you three, in your professional careers. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this a couple more times throughout the seasons over here. But thanks for joining us today, man. This was awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you guys, man. Thank you for continuing to push this culture forward. Thank you for continuing to kind of speaking what European and overseas basketball is, because like we talked about before, there's not a lot of people that have seen what we've seen, have done what we've done, have accomplished what we accomplished. So we get opportunity to kind of show it and talk about it from our perspective, because like I said, between us three on this podcast, like we've been able to see it all and accomplish all and done it all. So why not hear our stories and hear from our point of view as well. So
gotcha.